Good morning, Tarosphere. Okay, so live chat take two. Let's see. So we're doing readings this morning. And other than that, like nothing much else going on. I'm going to a psychic and wellness fair put on, but it's put on by that place where I go and take all my classes. So we'll see how interesting it is. Gonna get a couple of mini readings and stuff, I think. I don't know. Is it weird to say that I've never really gotten any like good professional reading before? Not like a really good in-depth one anyway. But anyway, we're doing readings this morning. I thought it would be fun to play with my So Below deck, the Book of Shadows Tarot. I really seem to be connecting with that one way more than the As Above. Also, turns out it was missing some cards. I pulled out a couple of boxes to try and get this place kind of cleaned up, and it was missing, like I found a couple of cards. Remember I dropped them all in a chat, but I found them. So hooray, it's a complete deck again, I think. I don't know, I'll kind of later make sure. And then everybody's been hating on her, and I get why, and we're not really going to go too much into it this morning, I don't think, but I thought it would be fun to do some life purpose readings with Doreen Virtue's life purpose deck, just because not all of her decks are hideous, and she did do some good work. I do really like this deck. It's pretty nice. And then I've got, let's see, I've got Madame Endora's fortune cards chilling out this morning, and I've got Animal Spirit if you wanted to do that. Good morning, Julie. How are you? Let's see. I also wanted to talk about a little bit, I don't know if she's watching or not or will ever see this, but I didn't get a chance to leave Diane a goodbye message. The Mystic Haven took down her YouTube channel. Good morning, Sunny. How are you? So yeah, Mystic Haven took down her YouTube channel for reasons, for professional reasons, which I totally understand, but I'm really sad that I did not. Good morning, Leona. How are you? I just didn't get a chance to say bye. By the time I realized it, it was just like, oh, let me leave you this. I was literally typing her comment, and then when I hit send, like the channel was gone, and I was like, no! So Diane, if you're watching this, you will be sorely missed. Your videos and content were amazing. And you had some great stuff, and I'm just sorry that I didn't get a chance to binge watch it before you decided to exit the YouTube sphere, I suppose. But something tells me you're still floating around. We're not getting rid of you that easy. Oh my God, Sunny's gonna go get some coffee. I have mine right here. Super awesome in my Walking Dead cup because Netflix just put up season 7. No spoilers, you jerks. Because I still, you know, I managed to avoid spoilers for that entire season. So I'm going to be watching it tonight because now that it's made it on Netflix, like it's a whole new round of people who like to spoil things. So I gotta start watching it like yesterday. But also BoJack Horseman is on Netflix now, and I do love me some Will Arnett. But anyway, yes, so we're gonna do readings this morning. If you want to queue up and put your questions in the chit chatty doobly, that's great. Like I said, I would really love to try some life purpose oracle card readings. Oh my God, binge watching. Yes, Julie says she loves binge watching, and you do certainly learn a lot. The thing that I don't enjoy binge watching is you forget almost as much as you learn. But if somebody's gonna exit stage left, I don't know. I just like to, you know, gotta cram in as many memories as you can. So yeah, fall is upon us. My business isn't as busy right now, which is nice. So that gives me some time to kind of catch up. Like today I'm going to be going to that psychic and wellness fair. But then the afternoon, I think I will finally be able to spend some time cleaning up this mess. I've already started a little bit, like I've started to clean up out from under the tables because it's where I store a lot of my stuff. But I have to go through and see which of my chemicals is expired and take those to the hazardous waste collection. And anyway, so yeah, Anywho, oh, I got a crystal bowl, which is amazing. That is an update, I suppose. It's not really tarot related, but I love it. It's one of the top fun ones from Amazon.com. It's not amazing. It's certainly not as good as like the ones that some other people have. I decided, like, I saw the colored one and I went, oh, I need the colored one. And there are some downsides to it, but it makes an amazing noise, and yeah. All right, so, oh, I love that you're a geek and take notes. Julie takes notes. She calls herself a geek. I don't think that's geeky. I think that's prudent. Because when you write stuff down, you're more apt to commit it to memory. Let's see. So yep, if any of y'all have questions, just queue up in the live chat, chitty chat chats. Put your questions in, and I'll do my best to answer them. I've also got Animal Spirit. I am really looking forward. Hi, Angela. How are you? I'm glad you got your reading the other day, by the way. I was worried about whether or not you'd ever see that. So anyway, I've got the Animal Spirit Guide, Animal Spirit deck by Wild Unknown with me this morning. I do not have the Wild Unknown deck. I left that at work by accident. I am looking forward to retiring my indie deck for the mass market version. One of these days I'm going to do something horrible and I'm going to be really sad that I've ruined an indie deck, and I don't want to. I also have Angelarium with us this morning. Inner Star Oracle. We all know how much I love this one. Madame Dora's fortune cards, which I really enjoy. Like, I don't know why, they're a little bit cheesy, but they're not so cheesy. Like, I don't know, I love it. Like, it's just kind of like, let me show you your future in this crystal ball. And I don't know, I feel like it's very stereotypical, but sometimes that stuff can be kind of fun. Oh, and King Richard's Fair has launched and landed, and it's entered my sphere of influence. So that, I have to decide whether or not I'm going to that this year. Revelations, I want to say yes, but is that the one where it's like the same upside down and it's got, where did I put it? Oh, she's floating around here somewhere. Where did she go? Yes, by Zach Wong. Yes, I do. It's actually it was my first tarot deck, actually. Got it right here. I just found the original box. I did some cleaning out of my office at work, and I found its original box, which is really exciting. So yeah, I've got it right here. It's a beautiful deck. It's got my moon card like right there. It's my favorite card. So yeah, we could use this if you wanted. Actually, since I've started my tarot journey, because I've had this deck for years, actually. I've had this deck for like many years. So it's on that cards. It's on the card, like back when Llewellyn cardstock was decent, and the box that it came in was really good. So Llewellyn boxes, I don't know if any of the older kids remember, but Llewellyn boxes used to have a little tuck box included that you could color. At least this deck did. So it had the insert. It had the place where the book went. It was like a sideways slidey-any. And the place where the book went, and then it had the deck of cards like shrink wrapped, and then it had a little box, a tuck box that you could. It was perforated. You had to punch it out of the box itself, and you could color it in. So this deck used to have a tuck box. I don't even know where it went, but like when you buy this deck now, it's like this the shitty Llewellyn cardstock, and it's got that shitty box. Like they include ribbon now, but they don't have it comes with like. I'm sorry, but I'm not carrying around something like this ginormous every time I want to travel with a deck, and then you have to get it's stupid. But anyway, yes, I love this deck to answer your questions, and I am more than happy to read for you this morning with this deck if you want. And no, I have not tried the bottled Starbucks cocoa and honey. yeah, so I got mine. Angela she's saying that it's a massive box that it comes in, but like I said, I got mine. It was probably like 10 years ago. Like this deck is easily a decade old. Well, no, my first iteration of it was probably a decade old. This particular one is 5 because I had it, lost it in a move, bought it again, and it still came in the good box. So as little as 5.5, 6 years ago, this deck came still in a good box. So the Llewellyn, like the bullshit Llewellyn cardstock ridiculousness is a recent development. It's not like it's not, you know, it's like I said, less than half a decade old. But yeah. Oh, sorry, I froze up a little bit, you guys. Okay, so anyway, if you want a reading, post your questions in the doobly. Another exciting thing is I got a bunch of Il Meneghello decks, and this one being my favorite so far is the Ilcanni, I believe it's called. Canny by Il Meneghello. So it's the Major Arcana, but with dogs. I love it. How do you get used to shuffling the cards without bending them? They're uncomfortable in your hands. So Julie, I'm assuming that you have small hands. However, this is just a regular Llewellyn card. I want to say it's like 4.5 by 2.5, maybe 3. I have very large hands. This is so the fact of the matter is all cards are eventually going to have a little bit of a bowing or a little bit of it's a little hard to see from the side. But again, this deck is a deck that I used fairly often for a while, but it's got a little bit of a bowing and they're going to wear in. But that, thank you. That is, it depends on the person. Breaking them in, which means shuffling them an awful lot, figuring out and practicing different ways of shuffling. One very popular way of shuffling for people with smaller hands is the hand over hand method. So, oh, thank you, Jessica. So the way that you would, Jessica said that she likes my sweatshirt. It says we go together like coffee and donuts. Okay, so the way that you would shuffle hand over hand is you take the cards in your hand the long way, especially if you have smaller hands, and you just let a couple of the cards drop from the deck into your hand, and then you just continue to gently release. You can actually bring the deck over and let your thumb grab a card or two if you're not very used to doing the dropping method. And this is how you would shuffle if you had smaller hands. And it's not as, and eventually you'll get better at it and you can go faster with it. I don't know how big of a fan I am of the hand over hand method, because it seems to, like, it scratches the cards a little bit. And if you're a collector, I'm a collector, and like I'm a practical collector. Like I collect my cards. Like certainly I have a decent, hang on one second. I have to catch up for whatever reason. My computer's being wonky with my window. Is that better? I think that's a little bit better. Okay. So for whatever reason, I prefer bridge shuffling because I think it damages the cards less, because that sliding action, depending on how hard you press down on a card, is going to scratch the coating. But yeah, you can definitely, this is an easy way for you to shuffle. I mean, but honestly, even like when I get a new deck, sometimes it's a little differently shaped. It feels uncomfortable in your hands. And the only way that that feeling kind of goes away is with practice and time. But anyway, Angela says she's not quite sure how to phrase her question. I don't know. Why don't you just, we can help you phrase your question if you want. Why don't you just go ahead and ask it and we can go from there. So anyway, I hope that helps you, Julie, as far as shuffling is concerned. So other than that, Yes, it is absolutely okay to bridge shuffle. It is up to you. Some decks bridge shuffle better than others. For example, do I have anything on me? Yeah, let me show you. Okay, so the Hay House cards. Cards that are a little stiff and sticky glossy are going to be harder to shuffle than others. So here's my Hay House deck. As you can see, the cardstock's a little thicker. It's a little glossier than like a Llewellyn deck. Even for the old stuff, this stuff was still pretty thin. And I find this one's a little more broken in because I have been using it. Oh, I lied. But anyway, you can still kind of see the intermingling there is not great. There's like chunks of cards, as opposed to my, my broken in Llewellyn deck. You look like a Walking Dead thing before your coffee. No, you don't. Your boyfriend's mom is horrible to deal with. You'd like to know if she will come around or if she's going to start in again. So you want to, okay, so you want to look at the relationship between yourself and your boyfriend's mom, because the answer to whether or not she's going to come around or start in again is yes and yes and yes and no and yes and no. Like, I mean, like, a relationship is an ever evolving thing. So I think we can look at the interplay between the relationship between the two of you. I think would probably be good. Is there any particular deck that you want me to use today? Yeah, I mean, the woman's always going to be around. She's your boyfriend's mom. Unfortunately, what they don't tell you when you start dating is you don't just date the person, you date their family situation and their friends, and it is what it is. It's also good and healthy. I mean, they should, if they, it's also a good way to take temperature. You want to use Revelations? All right. Card fuel. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to use the Wild Unknowns relationship spread. It's called Mirror Mirror. If you guys haven't seen it yet, you should check it out. It's on their website. You just go to the Wild Unknowns website, and I forget what section it's in. It's probably in the blog section. But it's one side is so it's two cards face each other, and it is self-image, other person, your self-image, other person's self-image, your hidden self, other person's hidden self, and your higher self and the other person's higher self. And I find that to be incredibly accurate. I'm going to encourage some reversals here. Oh, okay. Because that's the whole point of this deck, is to get reversals. So the way that I encourage reversals is I just kind of do this thing. I call it the napkin twist. It's like when you have a fancy pile of napkins and you want to make them look fancier, you can twist them so they make like a little spiral. Yes, it's a fantastic spread. I use it all the time. I try to give credit where credit's due whenever I use it, but it works out just great. Okay. So I want you to concentrate, Angela, I want you to concentrate on just the relationship between you and your pseudo in-law, I guess, at this point. So the way that I do this is I shuffle really well. I cut the deck into two piles. The first pile on the bottom is the querent, and the pile that you pulled off the top is the for the relationship in question. So then I do a top is your higher self, a middle card is your self-image, and the bottom card is the hidden self. And then you just repeat the thing. You repeat the same with the second pile. So we've got higher self, I have very limited room right here, right now, for whatever reason. Self-image of your mother-in-law. That's just what I'm going to call her for now, because that's the relationship. Boyfriend's mom is a mouthful. Okay. All right. So interesting. Okay, so for your self-image, you pulled the Nine of Cups, and you pulled it, for those that don't know how to read this deck, it is the top half of the card only, because when you put it in reverse, it shows a very different image. So anyway, you pulled the Nine of Cups for your self-image, which kind of shows somebody who's very to get, like, not made it, but like, you know, maybe you're not quite on your way, like you're on the way to like being like, you're very solid and confident in yourself, like you feel like you've got all the, like, it's almost a magician-y energy I'm getting, like you got this, you're fine, you're comfortable with who you are, you're not going to change it for anyone, because who you are is going to take you places, and you know, like you've made it, like you don't really need, you don't necessarily need this woman's approval to continue on in the relationship, but like you got a very confident energy going on. And then she pulled the Three of Cups reversed. Normally you'd see that. So this is the downside of celebration, but this is how she sees herself. So this is kind of a weird, usually when I get the Three of Cups reversed with this desk, it indicates somebody who likes to overindulge a little bit, you know. A troll bopper. I don't know how to make you a troll bopper. Tell me how later, and I will definitely wait. Sunny is like, I love her. She's so great. She would be a totally great troll bopper. Okay, so this card, like again, this card I usually see with somebody who likes to overindulge a little bit, but that's kind of weird as a self-image kind of a thing. So I don't know, as far as like celebrating hanging out with friends, maybe she sees, maybe like, I feel like this is probably a little more somebody whose identity is a little more tied up with the people that she hangs around with. Like she's very used to being top dog and kind of like the advice giver. Left click on your name in the chat. All right, hang on. I'm gonna make Sunny the troll bopper just in case. No, that's not how. Hang on. Add moderator. There you go. I think that, there you go, Sunny. I think you just became a moderator. All right. So yeah, I did, like, I'm getting that this woman is very much tied up into like how, like, appearances and how she appears to people. She's always wants to be fun. She wants to be the life. She thinks she's the life of the party. She thinks that, like, you know, a room lights up whenever she walks in and it's amazing. And the fact of the matter is everybody kind of does a little cringe. Like she's a little too, like she laughs a little too loud. She laughs at, like, you know, she just thinks everything is overly funny when it's not. She thinks her jokes are amazing. Like she's just kind of obnoxious, if that makes any sense. And maybe like celebrates a little too heartily, asserts her opinion a little too strongly, like one of those kind of things. And where you're very confident and steady, that kind of energy could be a little like, there's a little butting of heads there, especially where somebody likes to be top dog on campus, and then you're like, I don't need a dog, don't necessarily need that. Like, so that's where you two kind of clash a little bit. All right, and then we have the hidden self. You got Judgment. So Judgment, that is somebody who, while you are confident, like you're also kind of like trying to remake and rebirth yourself, if that makes any kind of sense. Like you're working on some stuff. I mean, clearly you wouldn't be exploring the esoteric and the spiritual if you weren't trying to do a little bit of self-improvement. So you're okay with taking constructive criticism. You're okay with working on yourself spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. You're all like you're a little more, again, you're a little more into like that kind of like esoteric-y, like I'm not gonna say churchy, but definitely spiritual. Like you're way more into it than I think you are. And you're kind of coming into a new cycle of growth where that's concerned, whether you realize it or not. Like you may think like you're okay where you are, like this, so your self-image, like you think you're all right, like you're, you know, you're pretty settled, you're pretty confident in what you've got going on, but you are undergoing, there is an undercurrent of change and personal growth, but not a bad one. I mean, again, like it's still like we're all, people grow and evolve, and that's what we do. And you're definitely doing it in a positive way. She got the Page of Pentacles for her hidden self. And this is someone who can't quite put two and two together as far, and is a little, you know, they're a little materialistic. They can't quite get it together. I don't think they, you know, they're just kind of a little more focused on, you know what this kind of reminds me of, and I hate to say it, but it reminds me of, if you guys have ever seen Idiocracy, and Joe has to take the IQ test, and it's literally putting like square peg in square hole, round peg in round hole, and then triangle peg in triangle hole, and like he's putting it together, and he's like, well, yeah, I can do this. Like this is the IQ test. And then he looks over and the other guy is just like trying to bang the square peg in the round hole. And then he kind of goes, don't look at my test. So that's kind of what this reminds me of. It's just like, you're okay moving on and growing and changing and evolving, and she's just kind of stuck. And every time she makes an attempt, it's square peg round hole for her, for whatever reason. So I don't know, like maybe there's an opportunity there for you to bond over kind of personal or spiritual growth. Maybe invite her to meditate, maybe it's time for you to be a little bit of the teacher, use your confidence to build this relationship in a positive way. Like maybe help guide her. Don't be like, you're obnoxious and nobody likes you, but but be like, hey, maybe you want to meditate with me today. I'm going to go to this class, or I'm going to go do like this community yoga. Would you care to join me? Like maybe it's time for you to start reaching out and maybe offer her a guiding hand as far as personal growth is concerned. This deck is so dirty. And then higher self, this is interesting. You got the Queen of Wands reversed. So you got the Queen of Wands reversed. And this is clearly somebody who has a tendency towards like a little hedonistic, actually, like a little like it's not the benevolent and fiery side and mothering side. It's not like the nurturing side of passion. This is you know, because the Queen of Wands is usually a lady she's a go-getter, like a passionate, like somebody who's like usually like an activist or something. You know, kind of like altruistic means like a. So I would say, honestly, this card, and it's going to be a little un-PC, but it's the best analogy that I can think in my brain to describe it. And it's probably something you should watch out for, because I think what you want is to be the Queen of Wands, not the Queen of Wands reversed. Because this person, the Queen of Wands, is an activist and an advocate. Confident, passionate, fiery. She's a go-getter and a changer. Like she affects positive change on the world. This person attempts all that, but for selfish reasons. So her motivations are wrong. Like she's a go-getter and an advocate and whatnot, but her motivations are to make herself feel good and superior, and like maybe make a little money while she's doing it. This person is doing it because it's the right thing. Also doing it because it's the right thing, but less so because she's a little more worried. Like she's a little more into the pentacles side of things, like the earthy five senses kind of a deal. So like this person, like, so to use this analogy, this person is obnoxious social justice warrior on YouTube doing it for the likes. This person goes to Calcutta and feeds the hungry. So if that makes sense. So you've got this as higher self. And I think that what this card is telling me is that you have the potential to be the Queen of Wands, but maybe kind of like steer and redirect your energies towards a little more of the benevolent side of things. Like you can still kind of be like, okay, well, in order to help people, I need to have the views or the money or this and that. But I think you need to constantly check in and remind yourself of your altruistic reasons for doing things. If that makes any sense, because you've got this reading shows you have a ton of potential. There's, confidence, there's personal growth. The first two cards were amazeballs, and then this one is just kind of like, So I think this deck really pulls no punches, which is what I love about it. So I think that just means like check in with yourself sometimes and make sure that you're not topsy-turvying and sabotaging your own motivations, if that makes any sense. And then for her, really interesting energy, she pulled the Five of Pentacles, which is kind of an interesting card to pull. Yeah, well, not even, this isn't even about, this isn't even like the boyfriend doesn't really even enter into this, Julie, because we're doing a relationship between these two people only. So I mean, we could bring the boyfriend into it, but I don't think there's time for that this morning. So she drew the Five of Pentacles, which means that she is clearly she's lost. I mean, the Five of Pentacles is a card of it's a card of illness, injury, loss, emotional turmoil, almost like she's almost, her higher self is, she's lost, if that makes any sense. This whole reading is somebody who's very lost, and not necessarily somebody who's very broken, but just somebody who's maybe kind of had a hard knock life a little bit and hasn't really recovered very much. Again, so her higher self, the Five of Pentacles, and there's help to be had. She just hasn't figured out a way to yeah, I mean, this is somebody who's just very lost and very broken, which is really quite a shame, and who tries to put on the face of somebody who everyone loves, but really everybody just kind of cringes when she's around. Honestly, I wouldn't hang out with her. Just judging from this spread, to have the Five of Pentacles be your higher self is really not something that you would want, I don't think. Yeah, I think she needs a friend. She needs a real friend. She doesn't need, if she has friends, they're probably just kind of sycophantic. I feel like when she calls them, they're kind of like, okay, she's that friend, and her friends are supportive in the wrong way. They're more enabling, supportive. She needs someone to help her, to help her grow. And you need to decide whether or not you want to be that person. And if you are going to help her grow, it needs to be for altruistic reasons as opposed for materialistic ones. So I hope that helps. Yeah, I mean, she has some growing to do, but I don't necessarily, you need to figure out for you the best way to help her grow if that's how you want to help her grow. So that is your reading, and I hope it helped you. So yeah. Anyway, anybody else have any questions? Let's see.